7 states hold primaries on Tuesday, including Iowa, where 3 Democrats are competing to challenge longtime Republican U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley. One of those vying for the chance is former Representative Abby Finkenauer, who defeated a Republican incumbent in 2018 and then served in the U.S. House of Representatives for just 1 term before losing her re-election bid 2 years ago. Now, at age 33, Finkenauer is facing a tougher than expected U.S. Senate primary in a state that has become more of a GOP stronghold in the last decade. Finkenauer regularly points out generational differences between her and Grassley, who is 88 years old, when talking on the campaign trail about issues like abortion rights, college debt and gun restrictions. On the day after the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, Finkenauer made a campaign stop in the Mississippi River town of Dubuque. She talked about how she's lived most of her life with school shootings happening in America. "I was 10 years old when Columbine happened," Finkenauer said to a small crowd gathered at Dimensional Brewing. Senator Grassley had already been in Washington, D.C., at that point for 23 years. She told the crowd they already know where she stands on guns, like when she proudly voted for H.R. 8 closing the background check loophole and also supporting red flag laws. Voters like Tom Townesend want Finkenauer. He introduced her at the Dubuque campaign stop. "The whole time she was in Congress she was working on issues that are important to building trades," said Townesend, who is with the local electrical workers union. "She has always been a great friend to union people. But Finkenauer has had some setbacks in this race. She almost didn't make it onto the primary ballot after a pair of Republican activists challenged her nominating petitions. It went all the way up to the Iowa Supreme Court. Also, one of her 2 opponents is staying competitive in his fundraising numbers." Retired Navy Admiral Mike Franken served in the military for nearly 40 years and came back to Iowa ahead of the 2020 election and ran unsuccessfully for his party's nomination in a different U.S. Senate race. The 64-year-old says he decided to throw his hat in the ring again, for this contest, following the insurrection on January 6, 2021. "Having worked overseas and defended the American way of life and worked for this country so hard, I thought his life becomes more compressed over the age of 60, thinks Ch. I can't think of anything more meaningful than to provide my expertise to maintain democracy in this country, because I saw it under threat." Al Simon is voting for Franken. Simon came to see Franken take questions from voters about foreign policy at an event in Des Moines last week. He thinks Franken is better equipped to beat Grassley. "I think Grassley's been there too long," Simon said.